You are sitting at dinner. The restaurant is expensive, not ostentatiously expensive, just the kind of expensive where nobody mentions the prices, and the menus do not have numbers on them, and you have learned to treat that as normal, even though 6 years ago, you would have taken a photo of this place just to prove you had been here. The person across from you is laughing at something you said. They look genuinely happy to be here. And somewhere underneath the wine and the candlelight and the easy conversation, you are running a program you have been running for years. A quiet background process that never fully shuts off. You are trying to figure out if this is real. That is the thing about money and relationships that nobody warns you about. Not the gold diggers. Everyone warns you about gold diggers. The self-help books warn you. Your parents warn you. The internet warns you constantly and enthusiastically. But that is not actually the hard part. The hard part is subtler. The hard part is that money does not ruin relationships. It reveals them. It holds them up to a light that was not there before and shows you every crack and every seam and every place where the foundation was not quite as solid as you believed. And sometimes what it reveals is that the relationship was always transactional. You just could not see the transaction before because there was nothing to transact. Let us start at the beginning, before the money, because the relationships you have before the money are the ones that get complicated first. Your oldest friends, the ones who knew you when, the ones who have a version of you in their memory that is fixed at a certain age, a certain income level, a certain set of problems. These relationships carry a particular weight after money arrives because they are built on a specific kind of equality. You were the same. You complained about the same things. You ordered the same price range at restaurants. You split checks without thinking about it. And that sameness was the invisible infrastructure of the friendship. You did not know it was infrastructure until it changed. Now the check comes and there is a pause. A half-second pause that did not used to exist. Someone reaches, someone else says, "No, no, let me." And you can feel everyone calculating. Not maliciously, just humanly. Because humans calculate. Because the numbers changed and the social script did not come with an update, and everyone is improvising, and nobody wants to say the thing they are actually thinking, which is that this is different now, and different is uncomfortable, and we do not know the new rules yet. So you start paying. Not always, but often. Because it is easier than the pause. Because generosity is a way of managing the discomfort. Because somewhere underneath the generosity is also a guilt that you did not ask for and cannot entirely explain. You have more. They have the same. The gap is not your fault, but it is your problem. And paying for dinner is the least complicated solution to a very complicated problem. Except it is not a solution. It is a management strategy. And management strategies have a shelf life. Because after enough dinners, after enough vacations where you quietly covered more than your share, after enough times of saying, "Do not worry about it," when they try to calculate their portion, something shifts in the friendship. Not dramatically, not with a conversation, just slowly. The way erosion works. They start feeling like guests in their own relationship with you. You start feeling like a host when you wanted to be a friend. And the thing you were both trying to protect, the ease, the history, the sense of being just two people who like each other, starts to feel like something you are working to maintain rather than something that simply exists. Some friendships survive this. The ones built on something deep enough that the money becomes just one fact among many, rather than the organizing fact around which everything else arranges itself. These friendships are worth everything. Hold on to them with both hands. They are rarer than you think. Others do not survive, not because anyone is a bad person, but because the equality was the foundation, and without it, the structure does not hold. And you will grieve these, even if you understand why it happened, even if you saw it coming. You will grieve the version of the relationship that existed before the numbers changed. You will miss being just a person to someone rather than a person with resources. Now let us talk about romantic relationships, because this is where it gets genuinely complicated. If you meet someone before the money, you have the gift of their history. You know they were there when there was nothing. You know the attraction predates the account balance. And that knowledge is precious. But it comes with its own complications, because people who loved you when you had nothing sometimes struggle to love the version of you that has something. Not because they are bad partners, but because the dynamic shifts. Because money changes the power balance in ways that are invisible until they are not. Because the person who used to split everything with you now feels like they are living inside your life rather than beside you in theirs. And that feeling, if it is not named and addressed, becomes resentment. Quiet at first, then not quiet at all. If you meet someone after the money, you have a different problem. You have no history, no baseline, no version of them that exists outside the context of what you have. And so the question is always there, underneath everything. On good days, it is a whisper. On bad days, it is the loudest thing in the room. Do they love me or do they love this? And the maddening thing is that you cannot always know, and they might not always know either. Because humans are not fully transparent to themselves. Because attraction and comfort and security are all tangled together in ways that even the most honest person cannot fully separate. So you develop tests, not consciously designed tests, just patterns of behavior that are quietly evaluative. You watch how they treat people who cannot do anything for them. You watch what they talk about when money is not the topic. You watch whether they are interested in who you were before or only in who you are now. You watch and you catalog and you build a case. And sometimes the case says real, and sometimes it does not. And sometimes you build the wrong case entirely because paranoia and discernment look similar from the inside, and you cannot always tell which one is running the program. There is also the family dimension, and the family dimension is its own universe. Your family loves you. That is almost certainly true. But love and money in the same family system create a particular kind of complexity that has no clean resolution. Because family comes with history and obligation and a set of unspoken rules about what belonging means and what loyalty requires. And when you have significantly more than the people around you who share your blood, those rules get applied to your resources in ways that nobody explicitly agreed to, but everyone implicitly expects. You become the person who can fix things, not because anyone sat down and assigned you the role, but because you can, and therefore, in the logic of family systems, you should. The car, the medical bill, the rent when the month goes wrong, the deposit on the apartment your younger sibling needs. These are not requests exactly. They are just facts delivered in your direction, and you respond to them because you love these people, and because you can, and because saying no feels like a betrayal of something you cannot fully name. But here is what happens when you become the person who fixes things. You stop being a person and start being a resource, not in anyone's conscious mind, not with malice, just structurally. The calls start having a shape. The shape has a purpose, and the purpose precedes the connection. And one day you realize that you cannot remember the last time someone from home called just to talk, just to see how you were, just to be in contact with you rather than in contact with what you have. And that realization does not come with anger necessarily. It comes with a sadness that is very hard to explain to anyone who has not felt it, because you want to give. Giving feels good. Helping people you love feels like the whole point of having made it. But you also want to be seen as the person who is doing the giving, not the account from which the giving comes. Those are different things, and only one of them is a relationship. Here's what rich people never tell you about their relationships. The loneliness is real, and it is specific, and it does not go away with more money. In fact, more money makes it more acute, because the more you have, the more complicated the question becomes, and the fewer people there are who can talk about it without a conflict of interest. The people who do not have money cannot fully understand the texture of your situation. The people who do have money are often the ones you are trying to figure out whether to trust. So you end up in a strange middle space where the thing that is most alive in your life is the thing you can talk about least honestly. What rich people never tell you is that they spend enormous amounts of energy trying to feel normal in their relationships, trying to recreate the ease that existed before, trying to find the people who see them rather than the portfolio, trying to be chosen rather than selected, trying to love and be loved in a context where love and interest and strategy are constantly in proximity to each other and constantly difficult to tell apart. What they never tell you is that the question, does she love me, or does she love this, does not go away. You just get better at living with the uncertainty. What they never tell you is that the friendships that make it through are so valuable that you would give back a significant portion of the money to protect them. Not all of it, but more than people would expect. What they never tell you is that the richest feeling in the world is not the account balance or the property or the freedom or even the options. It is sitting across from someone who knew you before any of this and watching them laugh at something you said and knowing, really knowing, that the laugh is for you, not for the version of you that has a number attached to it, just you. That is the thing money cannot buy, and the thing everyone with money is quietly, constantly looking for.